Hello, it's Big Bry, the deal guy, Brian Gray, and we are back for another episode of the fastest growing podcast out there, Big Bry, No Holds Barred. I missed you guys last week. I hope you had an incredible 4th of July the week before. Hope you had a fun week last week. I was in Nashville, an incredible card show in Nashville. First time I've been to the show. It was great. I met so many of you guys. I can't tell you how many people came and said, Bry, I heard the podcast. I love it. Can you talk about this? Can you talk about this? And the one thing people kept asking me is, what would you buy right now? What would you not buy right now? And I thought, man, there's so many experts out there in quotes. They're all experts, right? They've been doing this for at least 30 minutes. I've been doing it for only 35 years, so I don't know if that makes me an expert or not. But I was like, you know what? I don't know who I'd buy right now, but there's a few guys I wouldn't buy. So I thought today, I want to start out with a topic that to me is very important. It's not just who you should not buy, because I think there's reasons to be scared about investing. This isn't for collectors. If you collect, you like one of the two guys I'm going to talk about today, go collect them. It's okay. Heck, I collect some rappers' autograph cards. You may not like Lil Baby, but I buy his autographs because I collect them. That's okay. But I'm talking about for the guys that are investing or speculating. There's two guys that I think you should not own here. And I may throw a few other guys in there, but there's two guys you should not own here. You should think about selling. I'm going to say you should sell, but you should think about it at least if you don't agree.
Hi, this is Brian Gray, but everybody calls me Big Bry.
So we're going to start with that today. I want to just jump right into it. I think there's a few guys that you need to dodge. I've talked about this to people at shows for the last 6 months. And I've been so right about this one. The values on this player have been dropping. And no, it's not someone like Anthony Richardson, where you know he's not the guy. Where, yes, he's dropping because he's terrible. He tapped out. He gave up on his team, for God's sake. Not someone like that. Not a no-brainer that everyone says you should sell. I picked two players today that I think you should sell, who most people love them. Most people think they're great, and they're incredible investments. And I'm here to tell you, I think everybody's wrong. Let's start with Justin Herbert. In 2020 football, one of the greatest rookie crops of all time, everybody went hog wild for Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. From day one, they were the guys. Then to a lesser extent, you had Tua Tagovailoa, Mr. Concussion. Jalen Hurts. No one took him serious till he finally won a Super Bowl. He's pretty good. And Jordan Love, the next up-and-coming quarterback they think. The next Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, whoever comes out of that system. And from day one, Herbert and Burrow were so expensive. And why? Because they look like no-brainers. But all that glimmers is not gold. Well, I will tell you, I love Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is one of those guys that I would not be scared to own because I think he's got that intangible, that swagger that makes him special. Very few players have this. I think Mahomes has it. I think Brady had it. I think JD5 has it. I think Jaden Daniels has that. I think Burrow has that. I even think Baker Mayfield has it. He just doesn't have a team to use it. And I think Johnny Manziel had it, but obviously that didn't go right for Johnny. But you know what I'm talking about. It's that extra thing that makes them a winner, a confidence and a swagger that makes them better than their talent. Justin Herbert does not have this. Justin Herbert looks the part. He is that beautiful woman you see on the beach. But when you get up close, you realize it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all fake. None of it's natural. None of it's natural beauty. It just looks good from far, but far from good. Justin Herbert is a pretender. Now, I know what you're saying, because you probably have $10,000 or $20,000 worth of Herbert cards sitting in your kitchen, or $500 or $200 or whatever it is. I'm not trying to pee in your Wheaties, I promise. That's not my goal. I want you to think about something. The only way to be valuable long-term as a quarterback in the NFL in cards is to be a winner. Think about the guys that didn't win. The Tony Romos of the world. Even like Dan Marino, who's a great quarterback, he never won. It's what separates him from the GOATs. When people talk about the GOATs, they don't say Dan Marino. He's not a winner. You got to be a winner. Justin Herbert is not a winner. statistically puts up solid numbers. He looks the part. He's a big, strong kid. But the fact is, if he's lucky, and I'm talking about if he has a great career, his upside is Matt Ryan or Phillip Rivers. And I haven't had anyone ask me for either of their cards in 10 years. That's what I think Herbert hopes he can be, which should have you running for the hills. Because you should not be paying $10,000 for rookie cards of a guy who A, is not a winner, and B, praise that he's Matt Ryan or Phillip Rivers. Jalen Hurts, to me, is clearly more investable, speculatable, I think even more collectible than Justin Herbert now. He won a Super Bowl. He beat the modern GOAT. And I think that sets him up to be a Hall of Famer. He beat a guy that no one can beat. The only guy that got close to beating him was Burrow a few years back. And I already told you, he's got that swagger and intangible that gives him a chance to win anytime. So even though the whole world's going to tell you Justin Herbert is such an incredible buy because his prices have dropped, if you've seen me at a show in the last 6 months, I've told you, 7 months, 8 months, I've told you Justin Herbert's a loser. If you've asked me, I'm very vocal about it. And people get mad at me because they have a bunch of inventory and they think it's horrible that I'm talking bad about him, but he sucks. He's very pedestrian quarterback. He's a middle-of-the-road quarterback. So what I'm going to tell you is from my experience, again, I could be totally wrong. Maybe he's the greatest ever and we just haven't seen it yet. But I'm going to tell you, if you own Justin Herbert cards 1 year from now, and his national treasures goes from 9,000 to 4,000 or 5,000, or what about in 3 years if he's not even a quarterback for the Chargers anymore? Guys like Trevor Lawrence, this is the year Trevor has to win or he's out. Herbert's going to have that year in a few years, and there may be a day he's not even a starter in the league anymore. And you want to be owning this $9,000 RPA national treasures right now? Are you nuts? Sell that guy now. And you know what? If he does something that indicates that he is the real thing, then buy him back higher. I'd rather see you sell your national treasures for $9,000 or your Panini 1 for $300, whatever the price level is. I'd rather you sell it here, and then 1 year from now, if I'm wrong, buy it back for more money. Makes no sense, but at least then you know that he's turned a corner. Right now, his prices have gone straight down, and guess what? You're on the roller coaster. But unlike a roller coaster, this coaster doesn't have to go back up. This one can just go down till it crashes. Boom goes a dynamite. That could be your money if you stick with Justin Herbert. The other guy, this is going to piss people off. I am about to make a lot of enemies. Do you watch wrestling out there? I don't know if you guys watch wrestling, but when I was a kid, we loved the good guys. Everyone loves the good guys. And some people love the heel, like the bad guy. I call it a heel, but he's the bad guy. In cards, that's not the case. They only like the good guys. No one ever buys the bad guys. No one ever buys the guy with a horrible attitude or the guy that's thug life or the guy that's this or that or this. They just don't buy those guys. Well, I'm going to tell you, one of the most popular players in the NBA, I believe, is taking their first steps toward becoming a heel and becoming a hated player instead of a beloved player. This player is a solid player. Bad work ethic? Maybe. A little out of shape? Maybe. I don't know. Those are all stories people say. I've never watched this guy train, but I can tell you something. He plays for a team now where people are starting to vilify him. He was part of one of the worst trades in NBA history, where a team was so desperate to get him out of there that they gave him away for 3 Magic Beans and a Snickers bar. I mean, they did whatever they could to get rid of him, and that's Luka Doncic, former Maverick, now Laker. The Mavericks were so desperate to get rid of this guy because they saw him as long-term poison to a franchise, his work ethic, everything about it. And you're going to have to pay this guy massive money. They weren't ready to make this guy the center of their team long-term after all. The Lakers bid, and they got him for almost nothing. They got him for a broke-down Anthony Davis. Super. They could probably get a good price on him. But the fact is, I think we are seeing the very first steps of watching him become a heel or a not loved player. Now, you may say, okay, well, what do you mean by heel? Who's not loved? Let me name some guys that I put in the class of where I think Luka's going. I'm not talking about talent, although I think these players are talented that I'm about to name, but they're players who are not collectible. People don't buy them. And you know why they don't buy them? Because they don't like them. Here's some guys. Russell Westbrook. Guy's been on half the teams in the league now. Teams take him in because they think it's going to add. He's very talented. But teams get worse when he joins them. There's something there that's not positive chemistry. It's called negative chemistry. It's subtraction by addition. You add him and you lose. Kawhi Leonard. Guy's been on, again, multiple teams. People just don't like him. James Harden, the beard. They think his beard's cool. They think he's a cool guy, but they don't like him. They don't collect him. These guys' cards go for nothing. You can buy Harden rookies for $2, $3, $5. That's not what happens when you're a monster, huge name. This is where I think Luka's headed. I think the popularity is going to change. Now, could he turn this around? If he started on a workout regimen and had a fresh approach and had a positive attitude and taught the young guys around him like Dalton Connect, and Austin Reeves how to be better, like maybe. But it's a bad start when you go into a franchise. You come in because you're supposed to be the hero. Your team falls flat on their face. Then you become controversial when the team tells you about the franchise getting sold, but not LeBron. Then LeBron's leaving town now, it looks like. It looks like LeBron, even though he took the player option, it looks like LeBron's going to be gone. They're going to deal him. Hope maybe to Dallas, which would be quite interesting. But all that being said, all the pieces are coming into play for Luka to be one of those guys that you just don't love anymore. You don't watch him play and you're like, oh, you're in awe of that fallback shot he had with the Mavs. It just felt like with the Mavs, he was like just an overachiever. Like he was just special. And you're not seeing that anymore. Like he doesn't, like I like watching Anthony Edwards so much better. Because I feel like he's just like a guy on the rise. We saw Shea this year blow up. I think there's guys like that. Amen Thompson. Like I'd much rather watch Amen Thompson play than Luka. And I just think we're going to quit liking this guy. So again, I'm not saying he sucks. This is where I say Herbert is a loser. He's not a winner. I think Herbert is very average. He doesn't suck. He's average. Not nice to say he sucks. He sucks when you say he's a top 5 quarterback. Luka does not suck. Luka is a solid NBA player. Very good. Better. He's a star in the league still. But so is Kawhi. So is Harden. So is Westbrook. There's a lot of guys that people don't like in the league. And he's just another one of those. And so I tell you, think about selling here. His prices are high. They got the Laker bump. But guess what? Without LeBron, do you really think the Lakers are going to compete? They say they're going to build around Luka. The fact is, they shouldn't be building around Luka either. They should be finding some real value for him since they stole him. Get some youth on that team and start rebuilding. Let it be like those late 2010s when Kobe was not there anymore or out, and you were just playing with a bunch of young guys trying to build something. It's not now. They don't have the pieces. Austin Reeves is phenomenal. Dalton Connect could be good. I just don't think Luka is the guy you want to build a team around. It didn't work. I mean, it didn't work. Not the new Luka. The old Luka maybe, but new Luka, no. So I'm going to tell you to think about selling Luka. Not because it's not an okay buy, but because if he becomes a heel, liquidity will become dreadful and the prices will fall. I just don't see big upside for him. And again, like I told you on the previous episode 2 weeks ago, if you don't sell this card now, you're basically buying it all over again. So if you have a Prism Luka that's worth $200, if someone offers to buy it from you for $180, which is what dealers pay 90%, if you don't sell it, you're buying it for $180. So think about it. If you want to buy Luka, if you want to buy Herbert, good luck to you. I hope you go spend your life savings on it and then come back to me and say, Bri, I should have listened to you. I don't want you to do that, actually. I want you not to do that. But if you're going to be foolish and do it, at least come back to me and say, Bri, you know what? Next time, not that you're always right, Bri, but like the way you're thinking is how I should be thinking about things. And that's the goal. The goal here is not for me to be right every time or for you to be wrong or for I'm some expert, even though I like to think I'm a little better than most. I think this is about how you think about players. Along those lines, I talked about Anthony Richardson. You can't own that guy. You have to sell Anthony Richardson. To me, all these new rookie quarterbacks, you should think about selling all of them, except JD5. You should think about selling Drake May, JJ McCarthy, Caleb. Every one of them you should think about selling. Because with those 3 and Penix, out of those 4, one of them will probably be okay. 3 of them will probably be pedestrian at best if they're even quarterbacks in the league in 3 years. Why do you want to gamble? The market's hot. I actually think Bo Nix is the best of the group, outside of Jaden, obviously. But, I think this is the time. Sell some of these guys. If you have a bunch of them, sell half of them. Take some money off the table because a quarterback in the NFL is a revolving door. If you're not a winner, you're a goner. So anyway, That's my two shockers this week. I've been saying Herbert forever, and I've been right. The prices have dropped dramatically. And you can keep bottom fishing. But you know what? When you fish at the bottom of a lake, sometimes you catch catfish because they're bottom feeders. But you know what else you catch? Old rusty boots and tires. And that's what you're going to end up with if you're fishing at the bottom for Justin Herbert. He's just not a winner. And for Luka, he's a great player. But why take the chance? Because it does, certainly you see that there's some things that are not likable and they're coming. And maybe it's time to say, you know what? A little less Luka, a little more money so I have ammunition to buy the next guy that I see something special in. Who knows? That was fun. Can't wait to do this some more. I love these when we come up with these ideas, and I just want you to think. If you think I'm a nut, put in the comments, bro, you're a nut. But maybe I'm smart. Maybe I said something that's triggering you to think, you know what? I don't collect football, so I don't care about Herbert. I don't collect basketball, so I don't care about that. But maybe I need to be thinking about baseball. Maybe I need to think about Julio Rodriguez. Is he really ever going to be what we thought he was going to be? Or are there any prospects that I should hold once they get called up? Because every one of them goes down once they get called up. That's the process. Think about why you own cards. We're building on last show that I did 2 weeks ago. Every time you don't sell a card, you're buying a card. Every time you don't sell a card, are you thinking, why do I want to own this card? Is it just pretty? And that's fine. Be a collector. Think it's pretty. You like the guy, whatever. That's all fine. But why do you own the card? And if your answer is anything but strong conviction, you're better off with cash, because cash can get you whatever you want. Whenever you see the opportunity, you got to have dry powder. All right, guys, we're coming up on the National Sports Collectors Convention just 2 weeks away. And I have been watching YouTube while I'm on the road, and I see a bunch of videos, things to know about the National, what you need to do before you go to Chicago. And I watch all this, and guess what? I watched it, and I believe if you're a collector, those are great videos for you. But I'm going to tell you something that no one's going to tell you. You ready? If you're going to the show to buy, when the market was hot during like the COVID boom, I call it, you had to buy something the second you saw it, because if you waited 5 minutes, it was gone. I don't think that's where we're at right now. I think so much of the buying happening is repack buyers and whatnot, resellers for singles, and a lot of the buying is these resellers pushing the market. And again, I see tons of videos on this too. We'll talk about that another time. That's a whole 2-hour topic. Although I think it's all fine. I think it's great for the industry. That's my quick opinion. But the one thing you have to know for the Nationals, the market's changed a little bit. The National is going to have a record number of tables this year. And the value of the inventory in that room will be a record. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. The repack buyers and the resellers on whatnot cannot make a dent in that number. When they go to your local regional show, like they go to the Dallas show, they go to Nashville, whatever, they buy up a ton of stuff. But there ain't that much in the room compared to the National. So they make a huge impact to these shows. I saw Neo did a video the other day where he basically talked about how the Post-it Brigade is out there and they're changing the world of shows. Guess what? That ain't happening at the National. The Post-it Brigade is going to run out of Post-its, and there's going to be lots of cards left to buy. So what I'm going to tell you is, I'm going to give you very counterintuitive feedback here. Something no one's going to say this to you, but I'm going to say it. Are you ready? Number one, if you're coming to this show to sell cards, you sell your cards the minute you get there. No priority is more important, because guess what? All these guys with signs up saying pay 90%, 100%, they never pay 100. They all put 100, they never pay 100. 90%, 95%, 80%, 85%, I don't care. Guess what? Their appetite is going to be limited, because just like there's billions of dollars worth of cards sitting on tables, there's going to be billions of dollars worth of cards walking in Pelican cases. You're going to see 8-year-olds walking in with 20K cards, and you're going to see 80-year-olds walking around with a Pelican case they barely left off the ground because of their arthritis. And that case is going to have $80,000 worth of cards in it. There's going to be so many cards there. Yes, there'll be lots of buyers, but you know what? They're going to be picky. They're going to want to buy your best stuff. And at the best price they can, but they want to buy your best stuff. Guess what? You can always sell your best stuff. I'm talking about all the other cards. Like the two guys I just told you. They're not going to be dying to throw money at you for Herbert and Luka. But you need to be selling those. But guess what? If you check around, there's going to be no buyer for those cards. When a guy says, I'll buy your Lucas and Herberts at 80 to 85, 90%, you sell them. If you're taking stuff there to sell, your number one goal should be to be putting cash in your pocket. Because while the National is a great show, I believe by Saturday, Sunday, there will be deals. Like, I think there will be guys that will sell stuff under comps, whereas at most regional shows now it feels like everything's comps or higher. I think you will actually get deals. If I were repack buyers, I wouldn't even, besides the ultra primo stuff I want, I'd walk the floor for that. I would buy zero pedestrian cards there. By pedestrian, I mean like run-of-the-mill stuff. 89 Upper Deck Griffey PSA 9s or whatever. Like Barry Sanders Score PSA 9s. Like these middle range, cool cards, whatever. I would not even buy one card like that. I would only be looking for exceptional stuff you never see. Because those run-of-the-mill assets are going to get cheaper there. Some of this stuff's run up into the National, it's going to sell off. Some of the stuff that's gone straight up. And I'm telling you, if your goal is to sell, you sell the minute you get there. And very counterintuitive, because in the past they say, well, shop around, take it to everyone, see what your best offer is, then go back. That's a fool's errand. Fool's errand. Not going to win doing that. Because again, by the time you come back, they may not even buy your cards. But if you're buying and you're looking to add to your collection, unless it is something you're never going to see again, and those items you buy instantly. We've all learned that. We see that one card we have never seen in our life, you must buy it. Even if you have to overpay. When I see gold and green kabooms that are ones I really want, I'm going to pay and I'll overpay. I just have to have them. But if it's not stuff I have to have, you're not going to see me put out a penny for myself for things that I don't have to have until late in the show, because I think the deals will be there. So on the buying side, I'm going to tell you something counterintuitive. Wait to buy. Really get a feel for what it is you're targeting. You got to target what you're going to buy. There's too many cards there. If you say, I don't want to buy deals, well, you're going to be able to buy tons of stuff that are deals compared to your local show. So, screw that. You got to go there with a very big focus. I want to buy kabooms and downtowns. For me, it's gold and green kabooms. For someone else, it may be 2012 Prism Gold basketball. For someone else, it could be JD5 rookies. For someone else, it could be Herbert rookies because they didn't listen to me. Or Doncic rookies because they don't think he's becoming a bad guy. It could be anything. Whatever it is you want to buy, when you see the exceptional stuff you want to buy and you're just never going to see it again, you buy it. But if you're buying commodities, I don't see any big rush. So that's my two there. Next up, pace yourself. This is a beating. I've warned my daughter. At the end of the show, I'm going to give you a challenge that I'm doing at the National. It's going to blow your mind. But let me tell you something. I've told my daughter. I told Sid the Deal Kid. I said, listen, I hope you enjoyed her little thing last week, telling you what we got going on. But I told her, I said, you better start eating your Wheaties and drinking lots of water because you're going to die this week. Not physically, just emotionally, and her spirit will die because she's going to be run ragged because we're taking on a challenge that is undoable. It's impossible. It's just impossible what we're going to do. But me and her, we're going to do it. This show is so staggeringly big. Pace yourself. Make a plan for, I'm not going to try to see everything in one day. It's not possible. You'll kill yourself. You won't even enjoy it. Why not have fun? Like most people just do this show and they like animals. Have fun while you're doing it. Stop and smell the roses. Look at cool stuff. Talk to people. Enjoy community and camaraderie. Hopefully it'll be air conditioned, unlike last time we were there when it was brutal and I sweat like a sinner in church. But I think you have to pace yourself and really take your time and enjoy it. If you're going to go to trade night at night, don't stay at the show all day. Go home and take a nap and then go back at trade night and do trade night. You can't go 24/7 here. You will die. You will. Pace yourself. Bring cash. You got to be cash heavy. Everyone loves to pay electronic now. If you want deals, if you're trying to pay electronic, you ain't going to get the deals. When I was in Nashville this weekend, I wanted deals. The choice was pay cash, but if I said I'll send you PayPal friends and family, I offered people 5% more for friends and family. They wanted cash. And that's a big, on a $100 card, I get an extra $5 off if I pay cash instead of electronic. But on a $10,000 card, that's $500. So that was friends and family with no fees. They just didn't want PayPal. And then you start adding Venmo and Cash App, and there's limits on what you can send, and just bring cash. Take care of it, don't lose it, but bring cash. That's your ticket. And if you don't want to bring cash, bring those cards you want to sell. Take advantage of the fact that this is the most liquid market in the history of trading cards. Never have dealers been offering this high a percentage, and you can literally go to that show and sell $20, $30 million worth of cards if you wanted to. It's possible. So take advantage of that liquidity. Go there with cards and come out with cash so you can buy what you want to buy. I think cash is a critical component of this show. And I would say the last thing is just be smart and be careful and safe when you're walking back and forth. People are everywhere. There are literally people everywhere. And at Rosemont, people walk late at night and they're doing this and that because the entertainment district's just down the street. And it's like, just be smart. Take Ubers. I mean, I just tell people be smart because anytime you have a ton of people, things can happen. Things can happen. So I'm going to tell you, and the last one is do your homework before you go because using the internet at any of these conventions is hit and miss. You might even want to think about bringing a hotspot. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't even work. But when you rely on the internet at the facility or your mobile data in those facilities, it's a fool's errand. And they charge so much money. Like for a dealer to use their internet, it's like $700 for the week. So like it's a terrible situation. Think in advance about what are the roadblocks I'm going to hit. Because if you're going to go there and buy a lot of cards, you're going to want to comp cards. You've got to have a plan for that. But again, all these guys are going to tell you, wear comfortable shoes and, make sure you do this and that. You know to wear good shoes. I don't have to put on your shoes for you and tie them and tell you to wear clean underwear every day. That's not my job. My job is to tell you to not, I guess, let me change that. My job is to tell you or ask you to think about zigging when everyone else zags. Because when everyone is zagging, you need to zig. When everyone zigs, you zag. Which means if everyone is running out to the floor just buying fast, that's what all the buyback guys, all the repackers and all that, they're going to run out and buy whatever they want the first day. And they're done. They're not going to buy anything after that. So let me ask you a question. When's the best time to sell stuff? When everybody else is buying or when everybody else is selling? It's when everybody else is buying. You should be selling early and buying late because everyone else is going to be buying early and selling late. The smartest men in the world made money by playing opposite. That's Warren Buffett, guys like that. They made money because they did the opposite of the lemmings, of the flock of sheep, of the herd of cattle. They did the opposite. When everyone zigged, they zagged. In my life in this hobby, I have really been a zagger when everyone else zigged, no doubt about it. And I took some crap for it sometimes, but you know what? It was almost always the right play. But anyway, if you see me at the National, I will be buying. And I'm going to give you a little tease. Should I even tease it? I'm going to tease it next week. You got to tune in next week now. But I'm going to present to you the biggest challenge in the history of the National. It will blow your freaking mind. And I'm going to do something that's probably Guinness Book of World Record worthy at that show. Get ready. It's going to be a blast. Don't miss next week because I'm going to bring it. Guys, thank you for tuning into my podcast this week. Another round ball rambling, just throwing stuff out kind of thing. Roll call. Next week, I think I'm going to have a special interview for you also. That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? I'm working on talking to someone who's just kind of popped up on the scene. And I have lots of questions, and I want to learn a little bit about their background. I think you're going to find it interesting, too. Hopefully, I can put that together. But if not, I never run out of things to talk about. My mouth is like Energizer Bunny. It just keeps yapping and yapping and yapping. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the shows. Make sure you comment down below and say, Brian, Herbert, Luca, you're a dumbass. You're wrong, we're right. Or say, Brian, you took the words right out of my mouth. Or say, I don't give a shit. I want to hear you talk about this. Whatever it is, that's where we want to be. Until then, guys, next week, I got a good one. I can't wait. Catch you then. Big Brother Deal Guy.